Now, I'm going to explain about the International Ship Registry and Inevitable National Fleet System in Korea for your reference. Under the influence of the economic development, the seafaring became 3D job in Korea, and the young peoples are reluctant to be seafarers. Consequently, the crew wages were being increased. Therefore, many Korean ship owners registered their ships in FOC to avoid high tax rate and employ cheap crews easily. There were good lessons that some developed maritime nations had introduced favorable policies to bring their tonnage back to home. They are tax reduction scheme in United Kingdom and the Maritime Security Program of USA. The main purpose of the policy and system is to preserve the maritime industry, including skilled manpower and technologies. Not only that, for the national security and safety, because the shipping is the number 4th military for the safe transportation of essential goods and for the military logistics in case of national emergency. We have studied and reviewed the system from early 1990s and made the International Fleet Registration Act in 1997. After some years, the inevitable national fleet schedule for 2006 was finalized in 2005. Ultimately, 30 vessels were designated as in INF at the end of 2006, and the number were increased to 50 vessels in 2007. I have explained why the ship owners are flagging out their fleet. According to International Ship Registration Act, the Port of Jeju was nominated as the port of registry. If the ship is registered in the port of Jeju, they will get some benefit. They can save tax and that they are able to employ more foreign crews. The Inevitable National Fleet, INF in short word, shall transport designated cargo, including munitions, grain, crude oil, LNG, LPG, coal, etc. The total quantity of inevitable cargoes will be about 100 million tons a year. Therefore, about 88 vessels will be required to transport the cargo. There are some criteria such as ship's age, size of ship, etc. She must be under the age of 15 years, 20,000 gross tons or more to transport the designated cargo. If they are designated, she can employ 6 ratings of crew on a vessel, while other vessels could employ 8 crews, including an officer. First batch of the ship was 30 vessels, including 11 LNG carriers, 10 bulk carriers, 9 oil tankers, and 1 container ship. Second batch of the ship was 50 vessels in 2007. They are 14 LNG carriers, 20 bulk carriers, 8 oil tankers, and 8 container ships. Annual average salary difference between Korean and foreign crew was compensated by the government. Average amount was about $18,000 per year per person. There are two categories of ships as inevitable fleet: designated fleet and other ships. Based on 2007, there are 50 inevitable ships which can employ 6 ratings only, while 250 designated fleet could employ 1 officer and 7 ratings per ship. The rest of the ship can employ 2 officers and 8 ratings according to the agreement between ship owners and the Seamen's Union. Now I'm going to explain about the tonnage taxation system, which was introduced in 2005. It is a new corporate taxation system for shipping industry. Corporate tax are normally based on the actual business profit, but on standard profit of individual ship multiplied by corporate tax rate on the new tax system. The new corporation tax system could make the ship owners to save a large amount of tax during the shipping booming period in the early 2000s. Consequently, they could increase their fleet significantly by the new tax system. Many other shipping nations, including Holland, Norway, Germany, and United Kingdom, have introduced the tonnage tax system earlier than Korea. 3 years after than Korea, Denmark, France, USA, Japan, etc. have introduced the new tax system in 2008. Many of the shipping companies have been suffered from a big slump. Let's take some examples. Number 1, Korean shipping company, Hanjin Shipping. They should sell off LNG carriers and bulk carriers first to ease the financial difficulties. Thereafter, they sell up container terminals. However, unfortunately, they were bankrupt in February 2017. When they were bankrupt, 610,000 container boxes are on board, and the world shipping suffered a serious logistics chaos. The case of second largest Korean shipping company, HMM. They also should sell up LNG fleet and bulk carriers first. Thereafter, sell up valuable container terminals. Finally, they were under legal management in 2016 by Korean Development Bank. What are the reasons they should sell up the LNG fleet and bulk carriers first? Because they have the stable revenue base. Since they have a long-term contract with major shipper and consignor, such as Korea Gas Corporation, Power Plant, POSCO, and Vale, etc. Also, major bulk shipping companies were also suffered from the long recession, and the ownership was changed finally. The unskilled management by Korean banks were revealed as a major mistake for the shipping industry. For example, they forced the shipping company to restructure their business. Therefore, they have to dispose profit-making business first, such as LNG carriers, bulk carriers, and container terminals. Second, the banks focused on collecting their debt from the Korean ship owners. By the way, they gave a massive loan to foreign ship owners, including Maersk's. For example, $2.6 billion for domestic owners, while $12.4 billion to foreign ship owners. 4. They poured tremendous amount of fund in shipbuilding industry, but relatively small amount the shipping industry. Major maritime nations supported their shipping industry directly and indirectly through their banks. Let's take some examples. China gave full support to 5 shipping companies. Denmark support Maersk Container Lines. Germany support Hapag-Lloyd. France support CMA CGM. Japan also supported their major shipping firms. Global mega carriers increased their tonnage during the hard times through M&A and new buildings. Please look at this table, where you can see the carrying capacity of 5 major container lines such as Maersk, MSC, CMA CGM, COSCO, and Hanjin. For example, the Maersk increased carrying capacity from 230,000 in 1997 to 4.19 million TEUs in 2019, which is 18.2 times of growth. Japan had learned the lessons from Hanjin case. Japanese shipping industry recognized the harsh realities in global financial crisis, and they expect to face up to the harsh reality sooner or later. Therefore, they made a plan of merger of their liner services. Three major carriers such as NYK, MO Line, and K Line have put their hands together to be allies. Consequently, one has been established. Their carrying capacity becomes 1.57 million TEUs, which is number 5th rank in global mega carrier. You can see the sharp increasing trend of the carrying capacity of global major container liners, including Maersk, MSC, COSCO, and etc. Please look at the number 1 container carrier, Maersk, which is in orange color. They merged several container liners such as Submarine and Sealand in 1999, P&O Nedlloyd in 2005, and Hamburg Süd in 2016. They become a number 1 container liner in the world. CMA CGM also became number 3 or 4 biggest container liner in a very similar way. Please look at the Chinese case, COSCO in blue color. They are not a huge carrier until 2015. However, they became a giant carrier since 2016 when the Korean Hanjin Shipping, the container line, was bankrupt. I think COSCO has learned the lessons from the Hanjin case. Finally, Korean shipping industry and public sector have agreed to develop shipping reconstruction plan. The main point of the 5-year plan are: the first goal is to try to multiply the shipping revenue to $44.4 billion in 2022 when the 5-year plan complete. The shipping revenue in 2017 was $18 billion. The second goal is to increase the tonnage of controlled fleet to 100 million deadweight ton in 2022. The tonnage in 2017 was about 80 million deadweight ton. Third goal is to expand the carrying capacity of ocean-going containers up to 1 billion TEUs in 2022 and hope to become a number 5 rank in the world. Fourth goal is to secure 200 ships in a 3-year time. To achieve those goals in time, we have established Korea Ocean Business Corporation, who is the financial supporting body for the shipping industry. The Korea Ocean Business Corporation was founded in July 2018 under the initiative of the government. Their fundamental goal is to recover the Korean shipping competitiveness, which means the top 5 shipping nation by 2022. Their business contents are, first, sale and leaseback of ships for small and medium-sized shipping companies. The KOBC purchased the ships from the ship owners and lease back to the ships to them to reduce their financial burden. Second, prepare the shipbuilding investment program to secure 200 ships in 3 years' time. Third, arrange the investment plan for the port terminals and logistics infrastructure, and they provide financial guarantee for new building ships and purchase second-hand ships. They also support for eco-friendly shipping. Fortunately, we made a great deal of outcomes in 2 years period through the reconstruction plan. Let us see some quantitative indexes. Shipping revenue has increased 1.3 times compared to the revenue in 2016. The carrying capacity of ocean-going container ships have been increased dramatically from 460,000 TEUs in December 2016 to 65,000 TEUs in July this year. The deadweight tonnage of the controlled fleet is almost recovered. Let us think what we should do in future to complete the reconstruction plan. First, we should secure the cargo constantly. To do so, we have to arrange the ship owners, cargo owners win-win plan and try to increase the shipping rate of national strategic cargo. Second, we have to secure competitive ships through the continuous financial support. And we should promote stable management environment through the innovation, sale and leaseback of ships, and advanced market analysis, etc. Let's move to summary. There were 4 important driving forces for the rapid growth of the Korean economy and the shipping. We have enough manpower who are well educated and highly qualified in many sectors, including shipping. We could arrange the smooth invitation of foreign capital inflows for SOC infrastructure, such as to construct iron mill, oil refinery, and heavy industries. The third driving forces should be the outward-looking trade regime. It means the state-initiated export policy made the export-driven economy become successful. Another important driving force was the favorable external environment from our point of view. The Vietnam War. In a sense, the Vietnam War has contributed considerably to the development of Korean economy. Korea has sent more than 300,000 troops, and they have earned about $235.5 million, including their wages and allowances. Of course, we have lost more than 5,000 soldiers during the war. However, the foreign currency which they earned did a very important contribution for the national economic development. Another innovative opportunity was the Middle East construction boom during 1973 to 1985. The 1973 oil shock was a period of crisis for the Western world, but it proved to be a great opportunity for the oil-producing states of the Persian Gulf. Thus, their first priority for the Gulf state was renovation and expansion of social overhead capital, SOC. Therefore, oil-producing states of the Middle East established development plans and began to import expertise and manpower from abroad. Korea actively participated in the physical infrastructure-centered construction boom in the Gulf states of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iran, and Iraq. And they were able to become a major player in the Middle Eastern construction market in the 1970s. Eventually, we made contracts of $67 billion in the Middle East countries. It is needless to say that the US dollars earned from the civil workers have been contributed tremendously for the economic development. Overseas seafarers. The seafarers who work on foreign flag have earned $1.6 billion during 1964 to 1983 for 20 years' time. We will look at this issue later again. Again, we have to say that the well-educated and trained manpower are the crucial national asset. They are soldiers, civil workers, seafarers, etc. There are many driving forces for the rapid growth of private shipping in Korea. First, the planned shipbuilding program or planned shipbuilding scheme. We have built 1,259 ships, which is 4.81 million gross tons during 1975 to 1993 for about 20 years' time. The second factor will be National Shipping Company and the National Shipbuilding Company. We established Korea Shipping Corporation and the Korea Shipbuilding Corporation in 1950, just after the establishment of the Korean government in 1948, and they were privatized in 1968. During the 17 to 18 years period, KSC, Korea Shipping Corporation, has trained a lot of shipping experts, while Korea Shipbuilding Corporation has trained the shipbuilding expert. Third, the government supports the shipping industry through favorable taxation system, including tonnage tax. Ship owners could save a large amount of tax, and they invest the fund to purchase new fleet. There are another driving forces for the rapid growth of private shipping in Korea. The waiver system could help the Korean fleet to secure more cargo effectively. Direct and indirect financial subsidies could incubate newcomers to start shipping business. 6. Everybody recognized and agreed that the most important driving force in Korean shipping industry should be the education, training, and supply of qualified manpower in time or in advance. Therefore, I'm going to show more about how to supply the qualified manpower for maritime industry, and how the qualified maritime manpower could contribute for the development of national economy. Now let me explain how to supply the qualified manpower to maritime industry in Korea in detail. Maritime transportation cannot survive completely alone. They must be supported by various subsidiary industry and allied services. Subsidiary industry include shipbroking, agent, ship lease, ship management, marine insurance, maritime law services. And allied services include shipyard, classification society, marine engines and parts, ship repairing, supply, and stevedoring, and etc. Then how and who supply the maritime manpower? There may be many different ways to train and supply maritime manpower. In Korean case, the graduate of maritime university start their career on board as the ship's officer for some years and have a knowledge and understanding on the ship and the ocean. After the sea service, they could continue their shipboard career. But many of the ship officers move to shore with shipboard knowledge and get shore jobs in different sectors. Many of them goes to shipping company as the shore staff. Some of them goes to subsidiary industry and allied services. In the meantime, some of the graduate goes to public sector and education and training, including maritime administration, ministry, Coast Guard agency, and maritime education training and research institute. The Korean school system is almost same as American system. 6 years of elementary school, then 3 years of junior high school, and 3 years of high school. Thereafter, they can go for higher education in technical college for 2 to 3 years, or university for 4 years, or 6 years for the medical school. This slide shows the list of maritime education and training institutes. There are 2 maritime universities, 2 maritime high schools, and 1 maritime training institute who runs the IMO STCW mandatory courses. Let's see the Korean MET system in university level. It is 4-year course, and they can get first degree of Bachelor of Science and third class license, we call a COC, after the completion of the course. The MET system fully comply with the STCW convention and code, of course, and they are listed on the white list according to IMO quality standard. They study general subject, liberal art and science during the first year, and they study basic subject and course for the ship's officer in second year. Thereafter, they take practical course, normally sea training and workshop training during the third year student. Then they should come back to school for studying advanced subject and course in last year. Those are the series of training ships which were being used for the training of Korean marine officers from 1960 until now. That is my lecture for lecture 3, and I will continue on lecture 4. Thank you very much.